my mom gets this new boy toy, and she decides to kick me out of the house just so they can have extra room in the house, even though I'm the one that's taken care of her, because get this, she's a junkie, and she always has been. So guess what happens just a few months later after she kicks me out? Let me tell you. My mother has just kicked me out of my space for her boyfriend. My mother has never been a great mom. She has done the bare minimum over the years, but no more than that, and I've learned not to ask her for anything if I can do it myself. I've learned to be okay with her absence and mood swings. I've learned her pattern of how she ends up relapsing back into drugs. She always says that she's going to try to stop, but does not want to go to rehab. Instead, she's a functioning drug addict, and no one knows. Not even her family knows what she's like because I've covered for her for ages. They don't know how bad it can get to the point where I cannot leave her alone. It's for this reason that I cannot leave this town. Even though my best friend has been begging me to leave for ages, I have a good job in town and I do some freelance work when I need extra cash, but to be honest, I hate my life. I wake up, work, and come home to my mom. Sometimes she's in a good mood and sometimes she's in a bad mood. Either way, she sucks all the energy that I have remaining at the end of the day. One thing about my mom is that she's very beautiful. Most people mistake us for sisters, even though she's 37. Her skin looks like she's in her 20s, and because of that, she can attract any man that she wants. In the past, she's dated losers who left her heartbroken and broke. I've learned how to defend myself against those losers who thought that dating my mom meant they could boss me around. But now my mother has managed to get someone who's way above the people that she's dated in the past. She says that she wants a new lease on life. All she wants right now is a good life, and Harry can provide that for her. Harry's a 35-year-old man who's very successful and handsome. She reckons that he's the best boyfriend that she's ever had. Harry comes from a good family and is very smart and takes care of her. When she's with him, she's on the very high vibrational level. That is how I know it's going to end badly. I think she's going to get used to him to fund her lifestyle. When her energy gets like that, it's very scary to me. Other people are enticed by it and can easily fall for her trap. She calls it her glow. She's very aware of it and has used it both for good and bad in the past. Most people would call it charisma, and she can have a lot of it if she's determined. She's been dating Gary for a month and she's already deep in love. She is always either at his house or he's here, and I never have any space to myself because they're always playing loud music and inviting people over. I've learned to deal with it, but I have no idea what my mom had in her head when she went back to being mean to me. I thought that it was normal. And she started to talk about how she sees a future with Harry, but she doesn't know what to do with me. I was taken back since I was the one who put her life on hold so that she could take care of that woman. But I figured she was just being rude as usual. That is, until the day she sat me down and told me that I was too old to be living with her. I was shocked. I never thought that day would come. But I accepted it and said that I would start looking for a place to stay as soon as I got paid. She then told me that I did not understand. She wanted me out of their state. She told me that I was getting in the way of her relationship with Harry, and I asked how so, for I've never spoken to him. She then told me that two grown women could not live in the same house, and she said she feared I had my eye on him and would take him after all. I was not dating anyone. So I got upset, asking her what I would want with that older man. I asked her if I'd ever stolen any of her boyfriends before. She told me that while I did not, their attention was always on me. She then told me that she did not want to lose Harry because of a minor thing. I needed to move out. She then added that Harry was moving in. I dared to ask her why he did not just let her move into his house, and she then said that he had a bachelor apartment. He needed a home to come to, and I should stop questioning her. She then told me that because of my cheekiness, she was only going to give me 3 days to leave her house. At the time, I did not have any money. I'd just bought food for the house and paid for my car, and I was not getting paid until 2 weeks later. So I scrambled to borrow money from my friends, but no one had any money. In addition to that, I was having trouble finding an apartment. I was so stressed in those days, and she noticed, but guess what? She didn't care. She wanted me out so that they would have all the space in the world to do what they wanted. In the end, I managed to borrow some money from a person who charged me a very high interest. I took all of my stuff and I left. I was very sad that she would kick me out like that, and I did not have anything to my name because I spent all my money on her house. I paid all the bills and bought all the food as a way to contribute, and whenever I wanted to save, she borrowed money from me, which she never paid back. I had to write off those debts and know that I was never getting the money back. So now, I'm staying in a very crappy apartment. It's very cold here and the water doesn't run properly. It's a bit too far from work, so I have to get up extra early. She's not messaged me once to ask how I've been or how I'm doing. Instead, she's probably just been enjoying all the newfound space with her little boy toy. It feels terrible to be discarded like that by one's own mom. I mean, my mother has never protected me. I've always had to do things for myself, and she cared too much about getting her next fix. Her friends and her looks to bother with me. She never wanted to tell me anything about my father. All I knew was where he stayed and that he was a loser. He had to be if he did not come looking for me after all these years. Or maybe he's not and she's the one who hid him from me. Wow. I know it sounds like the plot of a movie, but I can only imagine. That's the only thing that I can do in this empty apartment. Imagine these scenarios. So, this is what my existence had been reduced to. I should have taken the offer that Olivia made me and left this crappy town a long time ago. But instead I chose to stay, hoping I could have saved someone who could not be saved. I've not lived a full life because of her, and I'm constantly worried that she's going to disappear or will have a mental breakdown. I'm constantly trying to hide her addiction from the world. No one, and I mean no one, knows the things that I've been through because of her. No one knows the pain that she's put me through, but I never left. But what she's done this time is something that I will not forgive her for. If she calls me and wants me to save her, guess what? I won't answer. I won't. We're done. She's a problem now, and not mine. When she stops being charming and so beautiful, he's going to realize the mistake that he's made. She'll leave him in the shadow of his former self, and he has no idea at all. I should have warned him, but I'm all out of kindness at the moment, so he has to find out for himself the hard way. Update number 1. My mom kicking out was the best thing to happen to me all year. That was the push I needed to change my life and finally do things for myself, and because of her, I was unable to experience new things, but now that she was out of my life, I was able to see so much more of the world. I took the separation from her very hard, for I was very worried about her. I called her many times, but she told me to leave me alone and to get a life. I talked to Olivia about what was happening, and she told me that my mom was right. I was no longer responsible for her, and now I could enjoy my life, so that's what I did. Olivia told me that she would help me to start looking for a job on the side. In the meantime, I saved up some money. I lived a very frugal life and managed to save a lot of money. I actually spent less money living alone than I did with my mom. About 3 months after moving out, I got a job interview. I left town for a bit to attend the interview and ended up getting the job. Olivia let me stay with her while I got used to the town, and I paid half the rent, and we got along pretty well. She introduced me to many people and experiences. For once in my life, I felt alive. I was able to leave the house at any time that I wanted and come back when I wanted to. I didn't have to constantly take care of my mom. I actually had free time. I started to go jogging early in the morning, something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and as I keep in shape, I met someone. We often ran at the same time and along the same route, so we become somewhat of buddies. My friendship with Eli. It quickly developed beyond the point of friendship, and we started to date. We've now been together for several months. In addition to that, I love my job. I'm getting paid a much better wage than when I was living in that god-awful town, and I'd not heard from my mom since I left. In fact, I noticed that she actually blocked me. I guess she's signing away any of her parental responsibilities. It's okay. I don't need her. I'm fine. I do regret the fact that I did not pester her to tell me more about my dad, though. I still have so many questions about him, and I will not be able to rest till I have answers. Did he leave because of me, and why did he leave me with all the junkie that is my mom? So many questions and not an answer. However, I'm grateful for the life that I had, and I never thought that I would have a life like this. Update number 2. I really thought that my relationship with my mother was over. I learned to accept the fate that she chose to kick me out to make space for a man. I realized that she preferred what he could get her with his money, and she thought that I was a threat and eliminated me. I've not thought about her that much in 2 years. Yeah, it's been 2 years since I've moved out. She's become like a ghost or even a fever dream. When people ask me about my mother, I tell them that she's no more. It's easier just to tell them that than saying that she's a greedy junkie. I did end up looking for my father for not knowing what really happened. It was driving me crazy. So I searched high and low for months. Sometimes getting a lead here and a lead there, but of course it always led to nothing. That was until I got a hold of a woman named Flora. You see, Flora is my father's sister. She knew that I existed but had no idea where Mom hid me, and unfortunately, my father passed away in an accident about 5 years ago. Flora's been the one who's been taking care of his farm, and she let me know that he was a good man, a very young one when he fell for my mom and got her pregnant. He wanted me to be put up for adoption because he had nothing, literally, and she wanted to keep me. So she left and he never saw us again. Soon after, he regretted wanting to give me away and wondered who I would grow up to be. He even reached out to my mom for years, but she never said a word. She told him that he was dead to me and would never know where I was. He died with a broken heart and no hope that he would ever see me again. Seeing his grave made me very sad, but it also helped me to heal. My Aunt Flora then told me that my father left me something and she wanted me to have it. It turns out that he worked very hard over the years and he does have a farm. Well, that farm is mine. It's a big farm that's yielded so much over the years, and my Aunt Flora helps me to manage it, and I give her a share of the profits, of course. It's been a very nice source of income along with the job, and I can say that I'm living a very comfortable life right now, and I'm glad that I left that town. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a long time now. A couple days ago, he told me that he wants to meet his grandparents. So we made a reservation at a very well-known restaurant in town, and they were very nice. I got along with them as well. As I was eating my rice pudding, I found a ring in there. That's how Eli proposed to me. I was over the moon. I never thought that I would be anybody's wife. His whole family seemed to be in on it, and they were thrilled that I had just gotten engaged. Even though I was happy, I kept on feeling unsettled, like somebody was watching me. I had that feeling all week and could not figure out for the life of me what was going on. As I unlocked my car, somebody grabbed me from behind and I screamed. I managed to dig my nails into the assailant's hands and turned around and I saw a dirty-looking old woman who looked a bit crazy. I started to call out for help to my fiancé who had just left me in the car, and he came running and grabbed the woman, getting me away from her. That was when a familiar voice called out saying that it was my mom. I looked closely at her. She changed so much in 2 years since I last saw. She looked old, tired, barely the beautiful siren that she used to be. Well, it was a bit awkward having to now explain to my fiancé that I lied about my mom being dead. The worst part was that his family heard the commotion and came to my car. My mother explained that she had been looking for me for a while, but I was so hard to find. She said that she really needs to talk to me, and I could tell that everybody was wondering what was going on. But I could not do this right then, so I told her to get in the car and say goodbye to everyone. I took her to my house and made her get a bath, gave her some clothing, and fed her. Right after she finished eating, she fell asleep. I could tell that she was going through one of her low lows, and it would be like this for a while. It was painful to watch. I don't really care what she has to tell me. I don't want to hear her sob story. There's only one thing that's going to help right now, and it's rehab. I no longer am her unpaid nurse. She's been mostly sleeping for the past 2 days. She's eating at least. Once she starts to feel stronger, she'll have to answer to me, and that's the only way that I'm going to let her stay. Otherwise, I'm sending her back home and cutting all ties with her for good. Update Number 3. Before I go further, I'm going to give you a rundown of what my mother has been up to for the past 2 years. Her relationship with her pretty boy toy failed after she just let her mask slip. The worst part was that she suspected he was about to propose. When she could not stop the drugs, he cut her off, and he still helped her with money since she was not working, but after a while he just stopped. In the beginning, things were great. He bought her expensive things, took her on holidays, and introduced her to the good life. She enjoyed it and wanted to keep it, but his parents did not like her. They must have sensed that she was a gold digger, because they were unsupportive of the relationship, and she, on the other hand, started to slip into her old habits, and she took him with her. But he was wise enough to stop when the substance started to affect his life. He told her that she needs to stop, or they would not be able to have a future together. So she pretended to stop and hid what she was doing from him. After a while, he called on and he was done with her. She tried to get him to stay, but he was fed up with her. In addition, his family told her to stay away from him, or they would get her arrested. He supported her financially for a while because he felt sorry for having made her quit her job. After a while, he stopped, so she was responsible for herself financially. She got into tons of debt with the wrong people and is in trouble back home, so for me, she needed money to help her settle her debts. I told her that I did not have any money to help her and that she needs to leave. If she would not just even stay clean, then how could I help her? She would just keep on messing up and coming to me to bail her out. But of course, she can be pretty resourceful when she wants, and one day, I came home from work to find her sitting with my fiancé. I absolutely panicked, and I did not want him near her. What if she told him everything? My past was something that I hid for a long time, and it needed to stay buried. Well, nothing much could stay buried, for it turns out that she managed to get information out of old Eli. When he left, she confronted me about my farm. She said that since I was making so much money, I should help her out. She had nowhere to turn and her life was in danger, and I told her that I did not appreciate the fact that she went snooping around my business. She said she had no choice, she was really in grave danger, and she told me about the people that she borrowed money from, the most dangerous people in town. Well, I was torn. I had no idea what to do. If I kicked her out, where would she go? What if she, finally got killed? But I was also mad at her for telling me lies about my father. There was just so much with her. There was always something, and right when I thought that I was building my life, she had to come and ruin it. So I told her that I would think about it and have an answer for her by the end of the week. If she was to stay with me, then we would have to do regular drug testing. In addition, she was not to speak to my boyfriend or my in-laws, and you have no idea the number of relationships that she's ruined for me in the past. During that week, I thought long and hard about how I was going to deal with her, until I got the best idea. I sat down with her and told her that I would only help her with the money on a couple of conditions. She said that she would do anything, so I told her that I was going to buy her a home and give her the market value amount. In addition to that, she had to look for a job and think about getting clean. I also added that she was not invited to my wedding and would not speak to my in-laws. I'd already explained my past to my fiancé, who then explained to his family. They all understand why I said my mother was no more. I've not seen her in quite a long time, but maybe there's a small part of her that's there. One can only hope. She agreed immediately and said that she was going to do everything in her power to make me proud. I already knew those words were a lie from the moment that she uttered them, and my mother is a junkie. She'll never voluntarily get herself clean. It's not going to happen. She always falls down the same path again and again, and her main excuses are mental health. I'm not trying to invalidate her because, she does struggle with mental health, but I do think that self-medicating with drugs is not the way to deal with it, and it leads to a lot of people getting hurt. So then we signed the contract in front of a lawyer and a witness, and by this time tomorrow, the money's going to be in her account and the house is going to be mine. I plan to rent it out for some passive income, but only after I check what state it's in. Knowing her, she took the whole house with her during her downward spiral. Well, now her precious home is mine, and I hope that it hurts. I hope that she regrets throwing me out with nothing to my name, for that rich man was not worth it. He could not deal with her messy self, and I'm the only one who can deal with her mess. But after she gets her money, she will not be my problem anymore. She's going to be out there in the world alone. I can then focus on my wedding, where neither my mom nor my dad will be present. At least I have Olivia and Aunt Flora there for me. Update number 4. This afternoon, my mother disowned me. Yeah, she cursed my name and said that I would end up just like her when they took her away. I cried, not because I cared too much about her words. No, those were tears of hope. I hoped that this would be what she needed finally to get her act together, and I know that she's not a good mom, but there's no way that I can let her destroy herself. She struggled in her mind for many years, but has never gotten professional help. When I was younger, it was easier for her to hide how bad it was, but soon I had to be the one taking care of her and helping her hide it from the world. I know I did what's right, and my grandparents thanked me. A week ago, I called them and told them everything. They knew nothing, for she had only visited them several times over the years, and they told me that growing up she was a troubled child. When they put her on medicine, she refused to stay on them, and she then acted up and got pregnant with me. Then she left. She then managed to go back to school, get a job, and buy a house, and they thought that she had finally been able to fix herself, not knowing that she was just hiding. I told them that I could not let her know where I stayed and let her show up every time she needed money. That's when told me that I had to send her to rehab. They said that they would make sure that she would, try to stop me if I suggested it, so I had to trick her. Therefore, when she signed the house over to me, there were just admittance forms to the rehab. Well, this afternoon they came to get her. When she realized what was going on, she was furious. She screamed at me, shouting every profanity she could think of, and she even cried and told me that she would change, but I did not relent. She's going to stay there until I'm certain that she can stay clean. She's been using many substances for years now, and who knows what sort of underlying health condition she really has. I did not do this to spite her, as she seems to think. I did this to save her. It should have been done a long time ago, but I was too soft-hearted. Even though she was clearly losing herself, I thought she could come out of it without help. But after speaking to my grandparents, I realized that this is better left to the professionals. She's going to thank me for this one day. Update number 5. I stayed up to date with my mother's health as I got married. My aunt and my best friend helped me so much with the preparations for the wedding, but I was a bit sad that I would be walking down the aisle alone. That was until my grandma and grandpa said that they wanted to come to the wedding. So then I asked my grandpa to give me away, and he agreed. As all that was happening, the doctors communicated with me about my mother's prognosis, which it was not good. Due to her abuse of drugs over the years, her body was dependent on it. So they had always just seen slowly weaning her off them, and as they did that, they noticed that she was not getting better. Her body was not even able to take nutrients from the food. When they investigated, they discovered that it's gotten so bad that she needed to be fed from a tube. Well, she stayed like that for a while, and she was barely mobile. I saw her several times a week, and she was pitiful. I felt really sorry for her. She was in so much pain, and she begged for it to stop, but it could not stop, for I let her carry on. Well, if she kept with the drugs, she would die. She was lucky, the doctors told me. They said that she was close to total organ failure, and it was a good thing that I brought her in. If I had waited any longer, then no medicine on earth would have saved her. So for now, they're going to be working on getting her a strong, healthy body. I've been told that that's the easier part now. Next, she's going to go to counseling, and she's been cooperative to make sure that she does kick this habit. Due to the length of time that she's been addicted, it's going to be hard. I've read up online, and apparently there are some people who they want to hurt themselves when they're withdrawing. So it's going to be a long journey, but I'm committed to helping her. Once she's out, she'll find her money waiting for her. The amount that she has left anyways, I had to pay off all her debt because I was now starting to get threats in the mail. On the bright side of things, I'm getting married in less than a month's time. I'm so happy that Eli's going to be my life partner. He's my safe space and has been my rock during the whole mom drama. He's not once judged me or been angry that I did not tell him about it. He understands that it can be traumatic, and to be honest, I too have started to go for counseling. I found that I'm often angered when people drink or smoke around me and they do too much of it. It's not right for me to be judging strangers because of what my mom did. I have to work through this, for it's affected me just as much as it has her. But I know that I can do it. I have a support system that I'm completely honest with, and I found that hiding that you're struggling makes things even worse. Guys, I read one of the craziest comments. In my opinion, it was totally wrong. But let me run you by the comment and let's talk about it downstairs in our comment section. The gist of the comment was basically saying that OP went way too far by manipulating, that was the word used, and choosing to get her mom to sign papers that sends her away to a rehab place without her knowing. Some people were saying, that's illegal and you can get in trouble for that. But I think that the people commenting are not remembering that the doctors were literally saying she was about to have all her organs fail. She would have died if OP didn't do what she did. I don't know. I just need to know what you guys would have done. What do you think about the whole story? Drop it down below in the comment section. This one did have a happy ending though, because the mom's in rehab, she's getting stronger by the day, and OP's living happily ever after. Let's discuss it downstairs in the comment section, guys. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories like this every single day. So if you want to be a part of these daily readings, all you have to do is subscribe to that channel. Hit the button right below. Thank you so much for that. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And of course, just remember it's cool to be kind. See ya.